Hello, I'm Michael Glass from the FXcast Market Analysis team. This is our FXcast Market Analysis trading plan. In each of our videos, we try to identify high probability trading setups. We'll evaluate the gold chart to see if there's any leading sentiment. We will create a low volatility watch list, an inside bar watch list, and we'll review the economic calendar to see if there are any releases that could affect our open and new trades. As always, please send your comments and feedback to analysis@fxcast.com. Okay, so we're going to start off with the gold chart. And the main thing, obviously, we see this beautiful 12-day up move. That's certainly great. And what we're starting to see, again, certainly after a big move like this, the market needs to breathe, kind of conceptualize what happened and determine whether or not we're going to continue. But we can see that the wicks from before is acting as support. So you can see we came down and tested it. So we're keeping this price level as our volume support. And we can kind of see that if we come over to our market profile, which we'll look at in a second. So now we're in this tight little range for the week here. We have our moving average coming up. It's nice to get rid of the air. For the most part, every time we've come to the 50 moving average, you might have taken a little heat, but that's been a buying opportunity. So we're just going to continue to let this consolidate. Now, we all know what's going on in the States as far as the debt ceiling. And, keep in mind that if we do raise the debt ceiling, that is more liquidation of the dollar, and that is a flight to gold. So we may see gold actually continue its move higher, even if we do get a vote to raise the debt ceiling limit. As we do come over to our market profile, we can see right now that the majority of the volume is happening at basically 1601. But we can also see, though, that support that we're talking about before, around in the 1580s. You can see that volume accumulating in this area. So you can see that's why price on the daily is staying up, because there's some volume support right under this. Overall, again, on our hourly, we can see that we're in the overbought range on our RSI indicators, starting to come out of that. But even if we do come down into that 1580 range, we'll probably likely see this turn over. And we can see how long it took. We see this great move on the daily, and it finally, in our short-term buying moving average, is finally taking control. But you see how long it took for that to happen. Also notice that on our inside bar here on gold, it was on lighter volume. So there's definitely a lot of indecision. And maybe the debt ceiling decision will bring some clarity to both the dollar and to gold. So with that being said, we come over to the pound dollar, and we can see on the daily that we've broken outside of this downtrend channel. So we got to figure out what could happen next. And I think what we'll do is we'll scroll over just a little bit, and we can see this price level right in here. Let's draw something there. Right around 1.639-ish. Looks like there is some action in there. Overall, though, if I scroll back over, you can see that not too much is respected in this range. It does kind of freely go up and down. But that is something that I will watch. This 1.639, 1.63, 1.664. I will watch that and see what's going to happen here. You can see the good news is that on our up move, especially the one on Thursday, it did come with volume. We got an inside bar, and then boom, and we got volume on the move up, and volume died off on our consolidation. On our you could almost say that this is an inside bar also. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. Now, the story that we're going to tell on our hourly time frame is that we are well off of our long-term moving average, so we're well above that. We're also in a sell zone as far as our Bollinger Bands. So, yeah, and you can see that once we got outside of it, now we're starting to conform and kind of come back to where we were. Now, that doesn't mean that the neutral area, the long-term moving average, won't start to come up, to where price is, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to immediately fall down, but we are above our long-term moving average. We are in a sell zone. Why did we get a sideways action on Friday? Well, we can see who's in control right now. Really, neither the dollar, neither the pound, and they're both below zero. As we come down a little bit further and look at this better, the red one here, this is our dollar. We got below our long-term moving average, and we can see here that's where we got our divergence, and as we come higher, that's where we got our big move higher on Thursday. But now we can see that the dollar made its way back up to the pound made its way back down to the dollar, and now they're just kind of snaking each other, and that's why we have a move here. Who's in control? Who's in control? And indecision. And we know indecision has a lot to do with both some of the Eurozone issues and the U.S. debt ceiling issues. And we can see basically on our probability indicator, it's in the middle. So overall, sell zone off of our long-term moving average, neither the dollar or the pound really being in control. How about the euro dollar? Here, we can see that we did break, but here's the question. Originally we had this line here, but is it now time to readdress this and bring this over to here? And if we do that, you can see that we're at resistance. So, excuse me, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Certainly, we could come into these wicks in here, right in there, and see some reaction there. But just like the pound, there is a lot of range, a big range move here. It's not tight. So that is interesting. We can see our selling volume is still in control, just like the pound dollar. Very light volume on Friday. So what's the story? Very similar, but it's getting back closer to parity. We are still in a sell zone, sideways action in a sell zone, still above our long-term moving average. Remember with the pound dollar, it was way down here, and here's our neutral. And so we're in a sell zone. Who's in control? Just like the pound dollar, really nobody's in control. Just like the pound dollar, there's our dollar divergence, there's our euro heading up, and then they begin to converge and come back to each other, and then they spend the end of Friday basically snaking. No one's really in control. We can see that. We can see, though, both the pound and the euro are heading up. And we did get a little, as we push down towards the long-term moving average and neutral, we did get a probability indication that we would return higher. But right now, with no one being in control, we can't necessarily say that we will on the daily run up and test 1.45. We need some clarity. We need one of our currencies to take control. So finally, we'll end off with the dollar franc. Coming over to the daily, we can see obviously a long-term downtrend, one of the nicest trends we have in the market. And we can see an attempt to move back up to what was once support. We stayed in this range for about a month or so. And now it looks like we're trying to come back up, test the 20 moving average, test the bottom of this range. And that would be with the strength of the dollar. But right now we don't have the strength of the dollar, and we see that the selling volume is still in control. So what's our story? Well, our story is we are in the neutral zone. We're not in a buy zone. We're not in a sell zone. Yet we are below our long-term moving average. But we're in a neutral zone. Who's in control? Well, the franc was in control, but the dollar has made its way back out to parity. So now, at this instant, nobody's in control, but it looks like the dollar wants to. You can see that the dollar is heading up and the franc is heading down. So possibly the dollar taking control, which would allow for this to move up and test the bottom of this range that we're talking about. However, indecision of the dollar may lead to allowing the franc to once again take control. As we go to our low volatility inside bar watch list, we're going to look at a couple things. First of all, on our low volatility watch list, we're watching the pound dollar and the Aussie dollar. And then, lo and behold, on our inside bar watch list, we have the pound dollar. Let's check out the economic calendar. You can see how light our economic calendar is for Monday, but more than likely the traders are going to be watching for any type of news out of the states regarding the U.S. debt ceiling, and that will move the market. So you have to be really cautious. We know Monday is our low liquidity day anyway, but most people are going to be watching to see what comes out, any news out of the states regarding the debt ceiling. We would like to thank you for watching our FXcast market analysis. As we continue to improve and make adjustments so that you're getting value from our videos, we want you to take the time to give us feedback, give us comments, send us questions about what you would like to see in our videos, and you can send those comments and feedbacks to analysis@fxcast.com, or you can post to our daily forum. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time.